I think that game being after OU weekend is going to be tough. OU weekend is a street fight, right? We've all seen it many, many years. So to go from that right into top of the SEC, I know it's at home. It's going to be an electric crowd. Pretty sure it's going to be a night game. I just hope that they still have the energy. And really, that's what we're talking about, that talented depth to be able to play. So I'm pretty sure Georgia has a cupcake before that, or some level of what we would call it, like an SEC bye.
So
Yeah, I
I
will say
think
the most underrated game, I think, is actually going to be the Kentucky game. So it's going to be after
Stoops.
Arkansas before A&M. It's a Stoops. We struggle
Yep.
against Stoops for some reason. He's probably hit up Bob, big game Bob, probably be there. Um, but also Kentucky is like they're good. Like they continue to win like 9 games in the SEC, and I realize that means they play 4 games out of the SEC, right? But
Yeah.
they're not a bad team. They're not bad coached. Their offense is actually pretty good. They've got this guy, Berrien, as receiver, who's probably one of the top 2 or 3 fastest receivers in the entire nation. And he's going to be a problem. And their run game, they got one of the guys, Chet Tranium, I forget exactly how to say his last name, from Ohio State. And he did just break his hand, I believe, so he'll be out for a few weeks. But the dude was a running back at Ohio State. So you know he's got talent. And I think they're going to be a little bit of a trouble. Just you come from Arkansas, you get to play this lot. It's going to be senior night, which is going to be great for us. But then you got to go to A&M after that. There's going to be a lot of what did we just go through at Arkansas? Oh man, look what we have to go to A&M. So Kentucky, in my opinion, is the biggest trap game on the schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. They're that deep. Now, I have a lot of Aggie friends and family. There's nothing to me that would be sweeter than Texas joining the SEC. And in year one, not only after we made the college football playoff before they ever did last year, but in year one of the SEC to win the SEC championship, something they never even been to or even contended for, not since Johnny Manziel was the closest shot. And
Well,
then make the college football
they
playoff.
almost went like
Oh, COVID year, I
3 years
think, right?
ago. They kind of got screwed, but yeah, they didn't beat was it LSU that year?
Was it the COVID year with the shortened schedule?
Mm-hmm. Maybe been 21.
Yeah, that's right. It was a shortened one because it
Yeah,
was right
because
when they extended Jimbo. Yeah.
oh
That was a
God.
fun. I've got a bet. I've got a bet. So my brother-in-law, he went to A&M, and I've got a bet with him for the Texas versus Texas A&M game that the loser of that game has to wear the other team's pajamas for Christmas morning and take a picture with the winner.
Ah,
So I've got a lot on the line there. But no, I think an SEC championship or just even being able to make that game would be such a good rub in the face to all of our Aggie brethren in the first year, and just show that Texas is actually a team to be reckoned with.
yeah. I think going the first year would be good because you're going to get a bunch of time off whether you don't play in the championship game or you do. You're going to get a bunch of time off to prepare the playoffs. But if you can earn that bye spot, then great. And if not, and you end up as team number 5, right? Then you actually get a home game for your first playoff game, which is pretty freaking cool. I like that they
Versus
put
Liberty.
that in. Yeah. So that would be really neat. So I'd love to beat A&M, obviously, and to go to the championship and win the first year if they could. Again, kind of like what you're saying, Brett. Like, yeah, we're here. We can do this. We know that it's not easy. Like, we can't overlook any of these teams, anybody on the schedule. But it would be just fantastic to watch that happen.
And don't overlook the impact of recruiting without that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you
absolutely.
go in there and you do that, and you get to tout that for a long time. A&M never was able to do that.
No,
You are the premier SEC Texas school.
right.
Come on, recruits.
Yep. I mean that, and NIL money. So come on. Hey, did y'all see that there's some um press conference that's being held at NRG Stadium between um Chris Conti and the Texas A&M. I can't remember his the athletic director's name, but they announced it.
Okay.
I think it's either this Thursday or next Thursday. But did y'all see anything about that? Have you been reading anything about that?
I heard they have a sponsor for the game. That's all I've heard.
Is that all they're going to talk about? Is it as a sponsor for the game?
They might be announcing it because it's under wraps right now.
Okay, so it's going to be like maybe I don't know NRG. That's I hope that's all it is because I know there was a lot of rumor and conjecture going around that it might be that they were trying to do a mutual site game in the future and
So
like do it at NRG.
the Aggie AD and RAD were talking. I do not
Yeah,
want to play a game at NRG. Oh my god.
it'd be so stupid. I'd be pissed. Like that could not happen.
College
Right?
football games should not be played in pro stadiums.
That's
I
fair.
hate Jerry World. I hate Jerry World.
That's
Like
fair.
play at the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, it's not called Jerry World the Cotton Bowl either.
No, that's not. No, you're right. No, I love whenever I see Texas and OU, they're like, all right, we re-signed for another whatever five,
Yeah,
10 years, you know.
you always kind of take that gasp.
Please tell me they're redoing it. Yes. Okay, good. Maybe any chance that they're announcing that they're going to move it to Thanksgiving Day moving forward as well?
That'd be nice.
That'd be sweet, right? Kind of bring that back.
Who doesn't want that? I've heard people like that. What is the argument to not do that? I don't understand.
I know obviously the NFL has a bunch of their games on it now, right? They do. They have a whole full
They've
time.
expanded, haven't they expanded, didn't they?
There are 3 games now. They used to just
Yeah.
be like 1 or 2, but now they're
These
full.
two.
Yeah, because it used to be like the Lions and then the Cowboys would host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's 11, 2:30 or 3 in a night game.
Right, exactly. And I think that happened when Texas and Texas A&M stopped playing on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right around that same time, maybe a couple years later.
Nobody wanted to watch the Mississippi Egg Bowl.
Nope, nobody wanted to watch the Egg Bowl. No, but it'll be a good time if they can get it back on Thanksgiving. What a great tradition, you know. So I would personally love to see that.
So what's your win-loss adjustment for this year?
Right now, I'm leaning 11-1. I think they lose to Georgia. I think they have enough talent and depth to beat Michigan, and then the other games we talked about being worried about, Arkansas and A&M. That A&M game is going to be insane. Like, I don't know if we're going to try and go to that game, but maybe because I was there for the last game when JT kicked it through and sent them off with a loss. I'd love to go again. I just don't know if I want to fork up the money for it. But that game is going to be absolutely wild, especially after the way we took Schloss from them. But if we go 10-2 and we're not able to make the SEC championship, because I know, Ben, we were talking earlier, you mentioned Missouri could be that other top dog in SEC, and you're right. They could be. They have a cupcake schedule.
Now I just pulled up Missouri's schedule. They play
So easy.
Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt, Massachusetts, Auburn, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Arkansas. They play A&M, Alabama, Oklahoma.
Right. So if they lose to Alabama and they win everything else, because they're good.
Yeah.
Missouri is good, but that's too easy.
So they got a starting quarterback coming back. Pretty good defense last year. I forgot what their record was last year, but I wouldn't sleep on Missouri. They had 2 losses last year. They lost to LSU, who, Heisman Trophy winner, started to find their stride midseason. They gave up 49 points to LSU, and they lost by 10. And they lost to Georgia. Well, they're not playing Georgia this year. They replaced them with Bama. So Bama's the toughest game. I think them playing OU again is fun. I think that was a fun game to watch always because I think OU would always run kind of the Big 12. Unfortunately for us, they kind of did run it, but Missouri always gave them some fits.
Yeah. They were the team in the North for a while too.
Yeah, remember the Chase Daniel days.
Chase freaking Daniels.
What's Macklin? Jeremy Macklin?
Oh yeah, forgot about that guy. Man, blast from the past. Brett, what about you? What do you think the schedule's going to turn out to be for the record?
It's hard for me to see a loss right now, but I've got very rose-colored glasses on.
Yes.
Man, last year I went into the season, 2023, felt really good about the team, kept up with it all year, all off season. I told everybody I'm cautiously optimistic. This year, I would tell you I'm optimistic because we have depth in places we didn't have depth last year. I feel like we've mitigated all the concerns that I've had about this team as far as attrition goes. I feel really good about it. I think Quinn is going to make his leap. This is his contract year. We haven't talked about that. This is his contract year to be a top 10 pick. There's offensive linemen that are going to be draft picks after this year. There's a slew of wide receivers, a running back who was kind of thought as the low man on the totem pole is going to be in the spotlight. He has got an opportunity to have a Jonathan Brooks type of year this year. Then you get to the defensive side of the ball and the same thing. You just got playmakers all over the place. I have high optimistic. I don't think there's a game that we won't be favored in outside of maybe Georgia. And Georgia's probably going to be a pick 'em with it being in Austin. I think we'll be favored in in all the other games, and most of those by double digits. So I'm going to be optimistic this year. I'm going to say we're going to go 12-0. I don't know who we're going to play in the SEC championship game. I don't think it's going to be Georgia because I just pulled up Georgia's schedule, and Georgia's schedule sucks. They play Clemson first week 1, which they could lose that because Dabo might have that one circled. They play at Alabama. They play at Texas. They play at Ole Miss, and they play Tennessee.
Yeah.
There's some big.
And some of them are kind of back to backish, right?
Huh?
And aren't some of them kind of aren't some of them like back to back tough games, like with no buys in between there?
Ole Miss and Tennessee are back to back.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
And they play Florida. Florida's one of their big rivals the week before Ole Miss. So
yeah, Florida's
good. But Florida's going to be a rival. and they play
Florida's
that.
going to be bad, but they're going to upset somebody. Florida has the toughest schedule, but they're going to beat one of these teams. Florida has the toughest schedule, but they're going to beat one of these teams that they're not supposed to, I think. I mean,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
they've got
I'm optimistic. I mean, this year to me is championship or bust. And I'm probably gonna say the same thing about next year. We'll see how Arch looks going into the offseason, but I'm very optimistic about this team. Very excited about the year. Can't wait to go to some football games. Still trying to figure out which ones I want to go to. I'm definitely going to OU. I'm definitely going to Georgia. Maybe a few other ones as well. But I think this is gonna be a fun year. I mean, year 4, moving to the SEC, veteran quarterback, great play caller, talent and skill all over the freaking field in every position group. I mean, what a time! What a time for us to be making this move to a new conference, new opponents. Oh man, exciting stuff.
and it lined up well with NIL. Like
I did.
that helped recruiting a ton.
no doubt.
I think otherwise they were mistaken. But it helps to have deep pockets. Especially now that it's all above table, right? We can say, okay, fine, here you go, $50,000 for every lineman that comes to UT, So
And I think Ben, you were going to announce that all proceeds made on this podcast we're going to go directly to Texas's one NIL fund.
The human funds.
The human fund.
The human fund, of course. Thank you.
That's what you're thinking, right?
Uh,
Yeah, we're making a donation, and everybody that watches this or likes this, we've already made a donation in your name to the human fund.
That's right. You'll get a postcard in the mail.
Yep.